Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go talk about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes here. When I tell you guys, we're learning more over time about the Rothschild pedo ring. How I know is because we were lured into some things as kids and even as adults. So this type of therapy, this type of recovery is necessary for a lot of us who were either encountered sexual abuse or discussing topics. Now, when I tell you guys that this is the stuff that was told to me about the Rothschild pedo ring, I'm saying I heard this from firsthand from relatives and family. And growing up, I mean, my mother, of course, if you know anything about our case, is that this went on for over 40 years. We weren't aware of it, but this was what was going on. The story, the backdrop is Pizzagate, as you heard the story about. Obviously, I think there's a story about the movie. I never watched these movies. I apologize, but uh, Hunger Games, uh, kids being shot and killed, things like this that you hear in stories. I don't know all that. I can say this: these are the topics that you hear about. Now, we're going to talk about the things that we're doing to try to get better acquainted on a topic like this, but this is what was told to us. So, I know when we were in 1980s, one of the stories, of course, and one of the indicators I knew, of course, is reading in the newspaper. It's the ones that didn't make it to the newspaper. It's those stories that we're referring to. In 1981, 82, there was a story about River Phoenix and he had committed suicide or something close to that. And then, of course, the Corey Haim story and also the story on Corey Feldman. These are, it was a well known fact something was not right. There was a story on Lost Boys. I mean, it was obvious something was going on the whole time. The thing is, we didn't know quite what it was. So when we talk about what happened at the pool, and when we talk about what happened when these kids or these people go to therapy or counseling or share their personal experiences, I know firsthand most of us had not personally confronted it. We knew about it, we heard about it, we often realized that there was things going on, but we didn't know firsthand what was going on. So again, it's a difficult topic to tackle. We can only go based on what we were told and what we know. And as far as like the locker room and stuff that happened to us when we were teenagers as well. It's a broad topic, so narrowing it down to some things here. I know going through this as a teenager, one of the things that went on is a lot of kids didn't talk about stuff like that. And it was like one of those topics, it was like taboo not to talk about it. And as the 80s, we started hearing more and more people discuss it, and it started to get to resonate with some of us. And over time, as we talk about the trauma based issues and some of the things that we're told about signals and other things that are going on, one of the first things that comes to my mind is how to deal with survivor issues and how to get back into some kind of normal routine. Um, Obviously, none of us started out as child abuse victims, so obviously there's some issues there in itself. We didn't start out as rape victims, we didn't start out as those people. So I know firsthand when these issues come up, we know we have to be with a therapist who deals with these issues on a regular basis, or at least go once a week and get into group, because group does work, it's very effective, and it does help dealing with some of the issues. And again, a topic as broad as this, it's just we're touching on general topics, but topics like I just looked up on YouTube. This is something that was on that movie 50 Shades of Grey, the blindfolds, things like that. So the again, this is the stuff that we're hearing about. We don't watch these movies, so I apologize if we don't sound like we're in the know of every topic, but I just know that these are the topics that are going to come up, and of course, the sexual paraphernalia, and definitely photography issues with people entertaining child porn. Um, Again, it's about getting ready for school for some of us, but for some of us, it has been an ordeal. And we hope and pray that whatever concerns we are addressing, we hope we address it as carefully as possible. But I have to tell you, it has eaten up a lot of personal time that we like to do other things, like get out and do things. Unfortunately, with a topic like this, it's everywhere. And it's not something we can just pretend and look the other way anymore. Thank you for listening to my broadcast in post.